everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tumbleweeds and Tombstones, the game where each week my players accuse me of trying to kill them, and I have to remind them that they're already dead.
Dead.
We are gathered here for what is Chad's last game in California before he leaves us.
Not another one.
Yeah, last game in California. I don't know. It's scary, but I can't wait. I'll be in Nashville by next Saturday.
Woohoo! Next leg of your journey.
Yep, we'll see where it goes, but
So is that fully
going.
3 hours ahead or just 2?
I'm not sure. I can never remember myself.
Oh yeah, we'll get to play in like 3 different time zones.
Oh yeah, we cover the whole country, dude.
There we go.
We are now permanently telecom.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, the rest of you.
Please sponsor us. Please.
Right?
Yeah, AT&T, quit calling me.
All right.
Was it does anyone else remember Singular?
One singular sensation.
Yeah, I switched from them to Boost Mobile.
Boost.
All right. Well, let's jump into tonight's recap. When last we joined, the group had made it to the Lupine Village, a massive settlement inside what you thought was a solid plateau, but actually hollow in the center that allowed for all these multiple structures of teepees and different other structures. Some of them seem more permanent than the others. Your group decided to split up with some people staying behind to guard the carriage and your exit, while others are going to sneak in, do surveillance, allow PETA to meet up with some of his people to see if he can get any kind of support or get them to listen to him and vacate before this all pops off. Noah splitting off from one group in order to do some recon and also drop off a constructed letter that Liam and others put together to try and convince one of the Lupine leaders, that of Jeffrey Sinclair from London, to meet with you, and then another one to meet, I believe, for Looking Glass to try and convince him. Wea, as per his nature, went owl and surveyed the visiting war camp, while Atris and I believe it was Bartleby visited the main encampment, the permanent, those who now are under the rule of Ichitai. And I believe Liam and Walter stayed behind. Liam helping Henry gather up some of the magical lakeweed, and Walter spending more quality time with
Asmodeus.
Yes.
So much quality time.
Learning a whole lot.
When it comes to Wea, once you go owl, you're gonna need a towel.
Whoa, dude.
I'll put that on a t-shirt. Anyway, so that's where we left off. So that's where we're jumping into tonight's game.
Well, no, where we left off was freaking Noah.
Dude,
that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Noah, in watching the main encampment, figured out kind of who was in which structure, found the one that Looking Glass seems to be in. Looking Glass sending away the 2 guards that seem to be with him, as Noah sneaks into the flap before it closed, only to have Looking Glass going, well, I know you're here. You're either very brave or very stupid. What do you have to tell me? All right. So, where everything is at this particular juncture. So this is where you guys came in, the cave structure that leads up into this upper level, which is the plateau around where this carved out section is. Each of these little squares is one of the lookout structures that happen to be in the hills and the plateau surrounding here. This right here is a mostly dried out and what's left frozen out river, as is this right here. And this is that frozen lake that you guys who were on the venturing party came in. This right here and this right here are the switchback stairs that lead up and down to the 2 levels of this. These are the oak trees that make something on the path of the main entrance, which is right down here. Over here is the visiting war camp. These right here are those giant fire pits that some of you saw as you were exploring around. This right here seems to be farm land that has been tilled specifically for crops. And up here is a set of different level ground that leads to this upper level where there is a main fire pit, Ichitai's main structure, and 3 other larger structures that seem to be for the visiting chiefs.
Is
So,
the high ground.
yes.
Where's the bathroom?
Yes. So,
Okay, so where is Noah?
Noah is right here.
Okay.
Oh man.
So the visiting war chiefs are there as well.
Correct.
Okay.
That's what these smaller polygons are right here. So he's in this one. This is Ichitai's structure right here. Atris and Bartleby are somewhere around here. And Wea's flying around here right now. You guys have the wagon tucked away in here. So that's where everyone else is. All right, so Noah. We start with looking less. You see this very much older. I mean, this guy looks like he's probably in his 80s, if not pushing into his 90s. Very thick bottle glasses that make his eyes look bigger than they actually are. Silver hair tied up in a braid that goes halfway down his back. Leather clothes of hide there, and a wooden gnarled staff that comes up with beads and feathers, other little trinkets on there. You see like a what looks like either a bird or a rodent skull hanging off of a leather cord on there, and the smoke is coming up as he has just doused the fire, and he is looking, if not directly at you, just over your shoulder. So he's definitely looking in your direction. Obviously not making direct eye contact.
I must be stupid to be this brave. As I dig through my backpack and drop the obfuscate.
Okay.
And dig out the little parchment.
Okay.
I've come completely unarmed just to hand you this. Because we wish more than anything to clear our names of the injustice that was done here.
And
As
Noah,
I hand him the note.
Noah, remind me, are you indeed unarmed? Or are you lying? Like, do you have your shovel? Do you have any of your weapons on you?
I have my shovel. I believe I left my knife behind because it is silver covered.
Okay. Basically what I'm trying to get is from Jeff is Noah lying in this moment, or is, in the best of his knowledge, as honest as he can be.
Yeah, to the best of my knowledge, I am being honest. I don't think of my shovel as a weapon. I think of it as a multi-tool.
Okay. I need you to make a charisma plus expression roll for me, please. Difficulty is 8.
Oof, that's a toughie. I got 1.
1 success.
It's not a failure.
That's it. Just 1 success.
Okay. That will let me give you a go ahead and give me a I would say this is going to be a perception plus empathy roll.
Okay.
Standard diff.
I got 3.
Okay. You get the idea that he is not making any aggressive movements to you right now. He's not reaching for a weapon or anything like that. There's a whole lot of mistrust, which is to be fair, given that you just operated in the middle of their home base and are kind of the enemy kind of deal.
Yeah.
But he's not picking you. You're hoping that he's not picking up any like lies because you're trying to be as truthful as possible. So he at least seems to be confused, a combination of confused, surprised, and cautiously on that edge of his guard is not down, but he's at least not making an offensive move. Well, bravery and stupidity often go hand in hand, especially with the younger crowd. But
Respectfully, sir, I believe I was born before you.
that is possible.
Although you do seem wise in your leadership.
How much of my leadership have you actually seen?
None.
Let's be blunt with each other.
Well, my name's Noah, but I don't mind if you call me Frank.
I said blunt, not frank, but I understand your meaning. He reaches his hand out for the note that you're giving for him. He opens it, and someone remind me what the basic gist of what it says on there. Does anyone remember? You kids, get off the grass! Does anyone remember what the note to Looking Glass basically said?
Sorry, I was trying to unmute myself. I know what we discussed was basically letting her know, like, we are coming here in good faith. We had a good relationship with Morokuro. We, are trying to find his killer as much as anyone else is. And we believe we have a way to find what was taken.
He reads it over and he kind of puts it down for a second, and you understand that this is going to be a hard thing for any of us to believe. No offense, but your kind and ours have been at odds for as long as any of us can remember, most of us forgetting why, except for most recent infractions, each side blaming the other, and frankly, our people believing that your very existence threatens this very world. Our reason for being here is more than just you. There seems to be a bigger disturbance down south, but it seems that you stand accused of killing the chieftain of this group of people, and you were the last ones to see him alive. Claiming to the other is a pretty big claim. Do you have anything to back it up?
Claiming that we were the last ones to see him alive is a dishonor to his guard, who should be protecting him at all times, even as we met with him.
The guard?
We have someone from his personal guard who will vouch for us if you are willing to speak with him.
So you found the wayward son.
So you're aware. It seems that you and Murukuro were much closer than it seems.
We were old friends, so you'll understand that avenging his passing is of the utmost importance, and most logic would dictate that I should sound the alarm, kill you where you stand, but you came here for a reason. I wonder, how confident in your innocence are you?
Undoubtedly.
Are you willing to put that to the test?
Yes.
Are you willing to open your mind and allow me to see the truth of the matter?
Funny thing is, that happened the other night. Yes, absolutely. Come on in.
Okay.
It comes off like a Mr. Rogers moment. Howdy, neighbor.
We're supposed to be doing a lot of mind melds.
Also,
Now, now this is a question that I need to ask Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping in mind that your guys' mission here isn't purely to just clear your names, but also rid these lands of lupine and very potentially kill a decent number of them, if not the leaders. Because your mission definitely isn't just to kill Ichitai and then bounce, kind of thing. How much of that plan are you going to try and keep from him seeing, if at all?
Not much of it, because I feel that he can know that my elders, not my elder technically, but my superiors have commanded me to try to relocate the werewolves. Obviously, I alone am not enough to take down this army, but from Noah's perspective, I think that he didn't intend a war as much as he was hoping to scare them away through threats of cavalry or no, that was his only plan so far. I don't think that he was planning to murder everyone until Murukuro died and we got blamed.
Okay. So just to be clear, you're okay with him seeing the fact that your guy's goal is to get rid of them?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Get them out the valley.
To be fair, of all of the party, Noah has the least amount of those direct orders. So
Mhm.
he actually has the least amount of knowledge in that scope.
And I was given options. It was either move a werewolf or go to Mexico and deal with the, gosh, what are they called?
The Sabat.
the Sabat.
Thank you.
I'm just
So
saying,
I
if any
had
of us,
options.
if any of us are gonna have our brains wiggled around there, Noah's is the least, filled locker at this point.
Okay.
I'm a clean slate.
Yeah, it will matter on the roll. So okay. So is there anything you specifically want to make sure he doesn't know?
Yes. The werewolf murder while exiting the cave.
Okay.
But I think if he were to find that, he would see that it's tied to guilt or survival.
Okay. So then I want you to go ahead and give me, since there is something you want to do, go ahead and give me a willpower roll, but it's only going to be standard difficulty because you're not trying to hide a huge chunk of the plan.
You said standard?
Yep.
I got 3.
Okay. He looks at you, and all of a sudden his eyes kind of flash a light blue color. And you feel him looking not just at you, but into you. And if you've ever had any dealings with any Ventru or anyone else that has abilities like Dominate, where they're rifling through your memory, it feels very similar to that. Slightly
No, I
different.
think just the DM's NPCs.
Fair enough. And you see it takes a good moment, and you're kind of having those memories and you're thinking those thoughts, and you feel that presence pull out from touching your consciousness. And he looks at you and he goes, well, you believe what you say. I applaud your candor, and you believe you are innocent of this crime that you are charged, though I must admit that your goal to get the people whose homes these are to leave them does still put us at odds. Oh, I should also ask, did you, because this would affect this, did you at all hide the knowledge of the Gatling gun?
I don't think I would have thought of doing so.
Okay.
As it wasn't my doing for the Gatling gun, but I am aware of it.
Okay. So, all right. So you did not hide the knowledge that the Gatling gun is there.
Not on purpose.
Okay.
It's very shiny. It's hard to keep it under wraps.
But I wonder if I can spin it as self-defense.
Just like my closet full of AK-47s.
Go ahead and give me a straight wits roll, please.
Just one success.
It's enough. I'm going to say that on top of your common sense merit. While not your conscious thought, some part of your subconscious goes, you know, maybe letting them know that we brought a weapon of mass death to them, and it being kind of your ace in the hole might not be the best.
We also took care to hide it, in the cave for a bit.
Yeah, so you get the idea that maybe letting one of the leaders of the Lupines know that you brought a weapon of mass destruction to their village and are trying to argue for, hey, don't kill us on the spot, might be counterintuitive points. So I'll say your subconscious chose to really try hard not to think about that. So that way he didn't see it when he was probing your mind.
Especially not the fact that they're all silver bullets in that thing.
Correct.
Mhm.
Silver
Except for the
bullets.
test round.
Yeah,
Silver
the
bullets.
one.
On top of the gun itself having silver laced in it, so that way it's hard to dismantle and everything else. So he continues with that. If you are indeed innocent of this, that at least clears you of that charge, but it does not necessarily make us allies. If your end goal is to make a good number of these people leave their ancestral homes for whatever purpose you have for it. These people have seen a lot of that in recent years and will not take kindly to such things, and are prepared to fight to keep their home, which I'm sure you can understand. If your primary goal is to clear your names, most will require hard evidence. That is, my word alone will not sway them, though my people listen to me and respect me. It is hard to undo taught hatred. I can at least give you the time and opportunity to find the proof you need. If you can find hard evidence of your innocence and can find that involved, I'd be willing to bet that there would at least be some whose focus would shift. But in trying to get those to leave, you can understand why there's a bit of a conflict of interest.
Absolutely. I don't believe that we will make them leave anytime soon. I think that would be a very difficult endeavor, although I see that you yourself have left your ancestral home to help others. I understand the loss of a home is a powerful feeling, and that many would be unwilling to go. This is just what has been requested of me, whether I fail or succeed. I wish no harm upon your people as much as I can possibly wish, considering a lot of your people want me specifically dead.
It is very true. So let's make sure they want you dead for the right reasons.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand.
So this is what I promise to do. I will not alert the other leaders that you are here until an act of violence is done. After that, all bets are off. As long as you are acting in a purpose of investigating and bringing the true criminal to justice, I will look the other way, as Mercuro did when he made his deal with your group. As soon as I feel that my people are in danger, or as soon as your goals shift from justice to carrying out the marching orders of your higher ups, we then will find ourselves at opposing interests, and I will do what is right by my people.
I certainly appreciate your patience, your understanding, and your leniency with us. I think that Murukuro would be very, very proud of his friend.
How can I honor his passing? By going against the last wish he had.
I think you will honor him if you were to give an offering to the Watcher in the Dark.
That's more of a local custom. That's not really me personally. Personally, I don't like to mess around with that kind of thing.
That's funny. Where'd you get that gift from? I could have sworn it was the Watcher. She had the same power when we visited.
Slightly different. Just as your kind is born with certain abilities, so is mine. Other gifts that are given from an external source, well, that is between the deal between that entity and their pact. And I'll say, Noah, you're well aware that lupines, they have innate abilities just like vampires do. And it varies from lupine to lupine, just like it varies from vampire to vampire kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I swear to you that we will find Murukuro's treasure and we will return it to the rightful owners.
Well, I hope you continue to be honest in your intent and your words.
I'm just not a very good liar.
We shall see. Now, if I was you, I would sneak out of here pretty soon before my friends come back.
I'll do just that. I'll throw up unseen presence and sneak my way out.
Okay. Go ahead and make a... This is going to be a wits plus stealth roll because it's less of you trying to be dexterous and more of you trying to be smart about making your way back.
I got 5 on that.
Okay. You with some pretty good intelligence and pretty good having kept an eye on landmarks and things like that are able to start to work your way back to where you all agreed to meet at the end of this.
I still have one more letter to drop off.
Oh, okay.
But I don't plan on doing any speaking for that. I think at most I'm gonna slide it on the ground under the tent flap.
Okay.
Leave it right by the door.
Okay. You are aware that in doing so that would drop obfuscate. So you can do it, but I'd say give me a perception plus alertness roll to look around and see if it seems like anyone would see you.
All right. Would that be before I drop it?
Yeah, that'd be, I'll let
Yeah.
you do it.
Okay. Standard?
Yes.
So I got 7 on that.
Yeah, you
Oh,
look
I'm sorry,
around.
6. 1, 1, 1.
Okay.
6.
You look around and you wait for the right moment. You see a couple of people walk by, a wolf trot by. You wait for that right moment to quickly drop the letter, slide it under, obfuscate, and hightail it out of there.
Yeah.
Let me see how good the people inside the tent are at. You are lucky. As of right now, there doesn't seem to be any commotion, so they don't seem to have noticed the letter being dropped yet. All right, so you make it off. We're gonna switch over. Atris, what are you up to right now?
Oh, I want to say what we were in the. You said we're in the lower levels of that rock formation, and you mentioned there was tents. I think we were probably in an Atris for investigating that whole area. Last I remember.
Okay. Should I go ahead and drop the map until you guys decide you need it again?
Yeah,
Or do you want me to leave it up?
I mean, I know we're investigating right now, so I think right now it's just, I don't know. Like, I just leave it at the moment.
Okay. So you're gonna stay at where that rock formation is?
Well, I think Bartleby and I were we're gathering like what's around, but I think we already, I don't know what information. I think we already finished. I don't know if we were. I don't think we had any intention of sticking around if we had already finished our investigation, but I can't remember offhand what we learned about numbers.
You basically learned that it seems like of the people that are here, it looks like about, I would say 60% of them are battle capable from what you can see. It's kind of hard to tell because it's nighttime, like you're in the middle of the night at this point, so you get that a lot of people are probably asleep. And since you're not poking your head into the structures and stuff like that, you're not really getting a number count of like, oh, man, child, man, child, that kind of thing. But
Right,
just from the number of the structures, you're kind of getting a head count of there being at least 70 individuals that could be part of this. And if all of them are lupine, that's definitely a big number.
Very fair.
And you're kind of getting a layout of, if you guys were to attack, you're kind of getting an idea of where would be good. You and your train, as a matter of fact, give me a for Atris, this is going to be a wits plus, I'll let you do either wits plus survival or wits plus melee.
Definitely melee, because I need
Okay.
To 2 successes.
Okay. So you're less looking at the individuals because you're getting that since most people are asleep, you can't really size up the warriors themselves. And you're more looking at the layout of the land kind of deal. You're looking at choke points. You're looking at, they have the numbers. Obviously, you guys are vastly outnumbered here. So you know that if this does come down to conflict, there are basically 2 main things you guys would have to focus on. Either assassination, which is definitely your bread and butter, of timed, targeted strikes hitting the leaders, essentially, and hoping that that leads to chaos and disarray. And the fact that, at least obviously, unless there are hidden paths or something like that, which you could always try interrogation if you could grab someone, and you're not, depending on your moral compass, if you were to grab a non-fighter and press them for interrogation about the village, and also using PETA's knowledge of there are some wolves and people here that can't transform, grabbing one of them and pressing them for information could be another way to gain intel. But from what you can see, there's the main exit out of here. That probably is that tunnel that you guys avoided and went into the side path on the outside part. And then there are the two staircase pathways that lead from the bottom level up to the top of the plateau. If you guys camped out there and had, especially your range, so have the carriage on one side, maybe the other marksman on the other, you would be able to take out a good number of them before they would be able to get up to you. If it came down to a out and out conflict matter.
Okay, so we got local positions, local numbers, choke points. Atris is not intending to interrogate anyone. She wants this purely to be stealthy reconnaissance.
Yeah. You also see there are the farmlands. There are also that you see that they probably get a lot of their, you see a well or two scattered throughout the town. There's also the option of poison. There's the option of dropping silver in and basically making the land unusable. So you have option, like you're really looking at this of looking at the topography and looking at this from a infiltration, assassination, and if the end goal is to get them out of here and clear them out, how to do that short of being able to murder every single one of them, which short of you bringing in your own army and it being an out and out conflict, that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to kill every single one of them before they eventually outnumber you.
But we do have options.
You have options, so you can kind of report that back to the group and see there's multiple ways you guys can try and take this.
All right. And then after that, we're probably going to want to meet up to, I believe last episode, PETA had indicated by direction of the moon or whatever place for us to meet up with him. So we're going to go.
Yeah, the direction of the moon was more of a time lapse kind of thing. I noticed I'm still twitching a little bit. At least my camera was. But no, you were going to meet back by the stairs over by the frozen lake as kind of the meetup spot again.
After that, we'll go to the rendezvous.
Okay. Danny, go ahead and give me a self-control roll for Bartleby.
He got 2.
Okay. He can choose not to try and pickpocket or steal anything. It is up to him if he would want to attempt that or not. What is he looking for? What is he trying to help with while he's here? What would, other than kind of watching Atris's back, what do you feel his goal would be while being down here?
I mean, his whole goal was to just kind of be Atris' assist, but he's also obfuscated under her, so he knows that any outside movements is going to break the obfuscation, and he can't put it back up himself.
So he's just keeping low.
I'm going to say eavesdropping is going to be his thing.
Okay. Is he listening just for anything he can, or?
Mostly he's listening for like opinions of dissension and people who are like not really understanding why this is their fight, and seeing if he can listen to who might be the more favored over Ichitai.
Okay.
go ahead.
He's also aware that very few people here would probably be willingly choosing to speak English just because of who they are as people.
Then he's just gonna knit a sweater.
No. But I'm just saying, he understands that it's not.
Since what I want to do, I'll just
No.
knit.
Hold on. What I'm saying is go ahead and, because it affects the roll, give me a perception plus alertness roll. The difficulty is 8.
I got a 9 and a 10 so far.
Okay.
Okay, so just the 2 successes.
Okay, that's enough. He listens for a bit, and yeah, for the most of the time while he's following Atris, he there's not a whole lot of talking because again of the time of night that is, but as when they skirted around the outside of like where those main giant fire pits were, and there were a couple of people there, most of the language he didn't understand. They were either speaking a native language that he is not familiar with, or they were speaking in the language of the Guru, which he is also unfamiliar with. However, after about an hour, he does notice 2 individuals that they are not native individuals. One seems to actually trying to see if he of Indian descent, and by that I mean actual India, not Native American, and one seems to be white, and they are speaking English with each other. And you notice that the dress is a little bit the white person seems to be in a basic shirt, vest, pants, shoes, and the other one wearing a kind of button-up thing that comes up to the top. And he catches their language, and the fact that it is English makes his ears perk up a little bit more as he's listening. And what he catches with 2 successes is, I still don't understand why Sinclair came all the way out here to deal with these local issues. We have plenty of our own problems back home. And his cohort responds, there was a call. It is honor bound that we come when the call is made. After all, the old chieftain was murdered. Surely that requires. And if they can't handle that themselves, I don't see why we have to. Well, there's also the matter of the old leech that has woken up and seems to be poisoning the lands. Is that not our very purpose? I suppose, but there's plenty of problems back home, is what I say. Well, I'm sure we'll hear soon about what the marching orders are, and they continue on their path. So Bartleby gets the idea that it backs up what PETA said of those under Sinclair's leadership. There definitely seems to be there's a sense of honor and duty to come here, but there's also that big there's that big feeling of, okay, they're here all the way from London. Why are we having to deal with this? Okay, so that's that. I assume then Bartleby and Atris are going to start making their way back to the meeting point.
They will. By the way, not sure if it's intentional. You got your notes up instead of the map.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Don't look at those. Okay, as a matter of fact, I'm going to stop the screen share for right now. You guys know where you are.
How does this book end?
Too late. Statement. I've memorized them all.
Right?
It's true. I read through the whole intro.
It's cool. We'll blur it out in post. We'll have some graphics and some computer animated effects.
It'll be an animated turd.
There we go. Just smearing across the notes. Okay. Wea, what are you up to, Mr. Owl?
Licking a Tootsie Pop.
Um,
Crushing a child's dreams.
All right.
I think they're called pellets when they come from an owl.
I know I was flying around looking at the armies
Mm-hmm.
and such like that.
And the sleeveys.
Yes. If I have time, I guess maybe if I can find a place and eavesdrop as well, see if I can hear anything.
Okay. Anywhere in particular that you're going? Anything particular you're listening for, or just generic eavesdropping?
Maybe by where the leaders are,
Okay.
and just anything that relates to them not wanting to be here, division among the ranks, or talks of war and what's going to
Okay.
happen.
we love derision.
All right. So you at that point you leave the encampment that you're currently in. Go ahead and give me a perception plus alertness to try and find where the leaders would be.
Seven successes.
Yeah, no problem. You're able to, being an owl, being able to get up high, being able to see pretty clearly at night. You see that raised natural platform that kind of has like natural steps up to it, and the larger structures, and you kind of instinctively know, okay, that looks important. And you head over that way. Are you trying to be hidden, or are you more just trying to not care if anyone sees you and just look like a owl that's out there doing owl things?
I want to make sure I'm not seen because animals don't like to be near them for the most part.
Okay.
So I want to hide with that in mind.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a wits plus stealth to try and pick out a good place to hide.
As always, it's up the butt.
I mean, if they really botch their perception roll.
What was the difficulty?
It's gonna be 8 to try and hide in the center. Yeah, you're a small owl, but they're also really good at smell and sight, and you're in the dead heart of their place and having to stay stationary enough in order to listen in on their conversation.
Oh man, but I rolled double sevens. Okay. That
Did
didn't
you spend
turn-
any willpower points?
I was thinking about it, but I did not. To be honest with you, so it is not a good score of 0.
At least it's not a botch.
It is not
That's
a botch.
True. That is true.
I will say that you are counting on hoping that your small size helps you stay unnoticed. But you do understand that you are at the heart of their encampment, so it's kind of, there's not a whole lot of great hiding spaces to be close enough to listen to, but also be where you gotta be. Now give me a perception plus alertness roll, standard diff.
I'm scared.
Just grow your feral claws while in owl form. Just walk around stiletto owl.
Oh yeah, that'll calm the masses.
If you confuse your enemy for a while with that, it would be
4 successes. Oh no, sorry, 5.
At that point,
Okay.
he just becomes Waquita. Like, who you hooing at?
So it's 5 successes.
Yes.
Okay. You take a little bit of time, and it seems let's see. You definitely hear murmurings from almost all of the main structures in this area. I will give you the choice of either honing in on the biggest structure that has the 2 eyes painted on it with then a axe coming up the center, or sorry, a spear coming up the center, or the one with the black axe on it, or the one with the sword on it.
Was it Black Axe? Was our missing arm lady?
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the
the-
scimitar sword was the guy who was from Egypt.
Right. But there's also the what was the one with Sinclair's was, I believe, the
Oh yeah, the other one
sword
had the
at
constellation
rest
on
with
it.
the wolf head.
yes,
Sword at rest with the wolf head. That's the European group.
correct.
Yeah, and it was those 3 were the options, right?
Correct.
10 Bears encampment, Little Far.
Let's do the European one since I'm doubling down on the negotiation skill of this guy who doesn't want to be here.
Okay. You land literally on top of his teepee. Where the wood beams kind of come up like this, and you're kind of sitting right in the crooks of that, trying to blend in with it, keeping an idea that you're only this big, so you're kind of nestled down there. And it's actually quite warm as smoke is coming up from the top of this and kind of smoking your owl buns.
I clenched
Owl.
extremely hard.
Okay, owl kegels it is.
Sold by Jane Fonda.
Let's see. Boop, boop, boop. So you listen in and you hear the murmurings of conversation, and it sounds like there's a handful of voices. How many successes did you say you got? 5. Okay. I will say with 5 successes, you pick up that there's at least 5 or more voices in this structure. And they all seem to be talking amongst themselves. You can't pick up like every ounce of conversation, but you're getting the gist of it. And you start to pick up little snippets of it. Obviously, 10 Bears is ready to do what needs to be done, and I'm sure he's been itching for a chance to bring the fight to the leeches. And if there is a king leech in the mist, he would love to add that to his list of victories. It would be furthering of his cause, though I wonder if Ichitai knows that given the chance, he would gladly take this land too. Well, sir, I don't see how that is our problem. We are here to answer the call, and if the assembly decides to go to war, then we must honor that. Yes, I know that, but listen, Charles, the point is that this can go sideways very quickly, and Anola quite literally has a axe to grind, as she seems to have run into some of the local leeches here and lost her arm in the process. They took her arm? No, it wasn't them. It was lost in her escape. Apparently, some from the Vatican were here and dealt with. Apparently, she brought the full force of her people on some of them as they were trying to return to their fortress and slaughtered them before they were able to make it inside. Although there are rumors that a new infestation has taken over the empty nest. But that I would leave to Ichitai to deal with. We are here to make sure that justice is done, and we are here to make sure that we honor what we need to and then get home as quickly as possible. There is trouble brewing at home, and I would much rather get home as quickly as we can. So it's more conversation of that. You get the idea that he seems to be pretty in on what a lot of the rumors are and how a lot of the different groups feel. That they are all wanting to go home as quickly as possible, but there is work that needs to be done here because they are honor bound to do it.
Yeah, it sounds like he just wants justice to be done and to be on his way. He doesn't really want anything else.
Correct. As you keep listening, you get the idea that he's not going into specifics, but there seems to be issues back in London where he's from.
Yeah,
and
I was gonna say, yeah, more of that.
You hold on one sec. Let me grab there's a little something here. Give me 1 sec while I look something up real quick.
Yeah, bad book. Bad book.
Good book.
Throw the book at him.
I have this one.
All my books are
There's a
bad.
lot of mention of all these issues being, you hear the Weaver being mentioned several times, and that there seems to be an uptick of these abominations. Is the Weaver behind it? They seem to be crossing over from the different planes and bleeding into this one. It's harder and harder to fight them there on their plane, and traveling between the planes is becoming more and more difficult, which seems to be why they are more anxious to get home quickly before the path home becomes too dangerous.
Okay.
And that seems to be what is the main focus of this conversation. Basically, you get the idea that they are just waiting marching orders for whatever the group decides. We'll do whatever, and take care of the issue. But let's get this over with quickly because we got shit at home to deal with.
Okay. Can I go to another TP? Or is it all about time to meet up? You think?
I would say you'd have another short time for one more. Which other one would you want to look at?
Do we go all the way and invest in Ichitai's? Oh, no, you said that wasn't an option.
Yes, I did. I
Oh,
said
you did.
Ichitai was an option. I said this guy was an option, and then Anola's tent was the other option. Let's
We're gonna go I want to go to the Ichitai's tent.
Okay. Dex plus stealth, please.
We found an owl. Kill it.
Mysterious owl, get him! Alright, I will use the willpower this time.
Okay.
I'm glad I did. What was the difficulty?
The difficulty last time was 8. Yeah.
Oh, the betrayal. 3 successes with the willpower.
Okay. Let's see something.
Oh, dude, I spun the gem dice and it like twirled on a 10, then it went over to a 4.
Oh.
I want to throw it out the window.
That's what your dice jail is for.
Yes.
You must cleanse your gem dice in a water bath under the full moon and then yell slogans at it.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. They rolled really high.
Oh, no. Oh, no, no, no.
So you see a guy walking by with 3 wolves in tow. And they look up as you flutter from Sinclair's tent to Ichitai's.
Oh, no.
I need you to make a... Now, none of them are in full Guru, like, battle form.
Uh-huh.
I need you to make a charisma plus performance roll.
How well do you owl?
Exactly. How well do you owl
Oh, my
naturally?
God. Really?
We can owl if we want to.
I've always wanted to be an owl. What was it? Charisma performance? I have these things, which is good. We're
This
gonna
is standard difficulty. I mean, it's not like it's what owls are. You're not like, oh shit, okay, fuck. I've only seen these in books. But,
I just imagine that
but I'm
if
scared.
I just imagine if he fails, they catch him doing his taxes, like just little bowler hat, just
Yeah, see, inflation's high this year. See,
he botches, he moos.
oh, not so bad. 2 successes.
Okay, let's see.
Against the
Let's see. It's contested.
Yeah, it's gonna be against their wits plus survival to see if you're acting like a natural owl kind of thing.
It's like when the cops pull up to you to your car. Just
Yeah,
act
right.
natural.
is that bird flipping us the bird?
How many successes?
Was it 2? I think 3.
You got 2, yeah.
2.
I thought you said 3.
Yeah, he said 3. We're gonna go with that. He said 3. It is now canon. 3.
Was it 3? I legit can't remember. I'm stressed right now.
Referee, play back the video.
That bird.
Okay.
They're gonna.
If it matters, it was 3.
So the guy looks up, and so do the 3 wolves as they see the flutter, and then you kind of hunker down, but then try to not look like you're trying to hide. It just looks like you're, you kind of do the owl thing where you kind of turn your head around, you give them a hoot.
Please, God, hoot.
Hoot for the love of Owl God.
Yeah. Owl God, save me.
Owl Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah. Take the hoot.
And the wolves kind of start very slowly, like pawing up and coming closer and closer to Ichitai's tent. And then you see them kind of like narrowing their eyes and focusing in.
I sweat profusely.
That's hell. Owls don't sweat. And like you do your best to kind of like look at them, but then seem disinterested.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to poop.
And God damn it, Danny.
Prove it.
And you see them kind of turn and start to walk away.
Oh, thank God. Oh shit. Okay. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh God. Oh fuck. Oh shit. Oh God.
You
Okay.
literally just made that roll. It was one of those things of one less success, and they would have thought something was hinky about that.
Oh my heart.
Oh
God.
Okay. So Ichitai's TP seems to be twice the size of the others. And the interesting thing about it is there's the main TP structure, but then there seems to be a wooden structure that comes out the back of it to make a more permanent fixture. And you sit, and then once again, there's definitely, this is actually big enough where you can look in and actually see where the beams, large wood beams come together at the fixture point at the top.
Mm-hmm. One sec. Hold on. Real quick.
Okay.
I'm still enjoying no offense.
Yeah.
How did I not see it till today?
Finally know his last name.
All right. We're good.
All right.
We're good.
So, even warmer, so you get the idea that there's an even bigger fire inside. And you hop down to the point where you're kind of almost inside and you're listening in. And you remember the voice of Ichitai, and you hear him and several other voices, male and female. How do you think they're going to vote? If they're smart, they'll know what's good and they'll vote to support me. And what if they don't? Well, we've dealt with these things in the past. But who would deny to honor my father's passing by avenging them and destroying their killers? Yeah, I can't see them turning away from that. Did you hear the rumors that PETA survived? I'm sure he has succumbed to his wounds by now. And if he hasn't, he would be wise to make sure he leaves far away from here. I don't see him being a problem. But some of them seem unsure. Then we will make them sure. How? Our scouts picked up a trail a few miles from here. If we follow it, I'm sure it'll lead us right to them. We either kill them and they're no longer a problem, or better yet, we bring one of them here. I'm sure they might come to rescue them. And when they do so, we'll have all the cause we need. I also have scouts going to the corrupted lands. Once they bring back evidence of the corruption, that'll get the true believers to enact Gaia's plan and save the lands from the corruption. That will work them all into a frenzy. And I'll say that's what you overhear.
Okay.
You go to meet back at the meeting point?
Yes, I will head back and I'm done toasting my buns on the fire.
Okay. I assume Liam and Walter, you're just keeping lookout. Is there anything else you want to accomplish while everyone's gone, or are you just keeping lookout?
Basically, what Liam wants to do with the lakeweed
Mm-hmm.
is work with Henry
Mm-hmm.
and see if we can like, I don't know what the stones like. Basically, pulp it.
Like grind it almost into a pumice kind of thing.
Yeah, because I wanna put it into some of my vials because I think I can use it later.
Okay. Just the pulp, or are you adding like water to it, or something like
Well,
that?
I mean, it's wet. We're gonna like
Okay.
it's got natural juices.
But I'm asking, do you want it to be more of a solid, or do you want it to be more of a liquid?
Liquid.
Okay. I will say then, unless you really want to role play this out.
Just want to find out if it succeeds or not.
Okay, fine enough. Give me a this is going to be a wits plus, not really craft, because you're not really making anything.
Whoa. Henry does the work. Liam assists
Okay, so you're
With-
going to assist Henry.
with great leadership skills
Okay,
and
so
how-to-itiveness.
all right. How specifically are you assisting him other than micromanaging over his shoulder?
I provide the materials as well as moral support.
This is Liam we're talking about here.
I just
Okay.
we're talking shop. I'm trying to learn from Henry so that I can up my crafting.
Okay. Well, this is going to be Henry's going to roll an int plus survival, because it's not really, at this point, it's not really crafting anything. It's grinding something into a pulp and trying to get it into a vial.
Well, then I can do that.
Do you
Start
want to
yelling at
roll, or
me.
do you want him to roll?
I have wits in survival. I just don't have shit in crafts.
Like none of us have anything in crafts.
You take that back, sir.
Most
So
of
do
us
you-
don't.
So do you want to roll, or do you want him
Four out
to
of
roll?
5 of us don't have anything in crafts.
Okay, if I roll, what's my difficulty?
Standard.
I've
It's
only got
grinding. It's grinding something into a pulp and putting it in a vial. It's not rocket science.
4. One, two, three. I got 3 successes.
Okay. I'm going to assume, being the gentleman that you are, you have a pair of gloves with you. So,
Yeah, that was gonna be part of the whole thing, since it's it's a stamina draining
Yeah.
kelpweed that I have
So I'm gonna
personal
assume that you're-
experience with.
with those successes, you're careful enough to not get any of the juice or pulp to touch bare skin. I love that with the filter you have, it looks like you're trying to censor out like product placement kind of thing.
Oh, there you go.
Sponsored by unknown.
Exactly. Like no product placement episodes here.
They're called tuffles.
This is the Japanese porn of potato chips.
We ask for our advertisers.
Right. But anyway, you're able to grind it down. And you kind of use, like, you find a rock and you put it down and you start to kind of squeeze and grind and get in. So I will say, with how much you gathered, you have 2 vials, about yay big, of this lakeweed substance. The liquid kind of gives off almost a Listerine, like minty green Baja Blast look to it.
Flavor. I'm not tasting that right now.
Wow.
Flavor.
Also, I know you said lakeweed, but it sounded like you said liquid in a really odd enunciation.
Liquid. That's all I wanted.
Okay, you got it. Walter, is there anything else you wanted to achieve in this time, or just waiting for your friends to get back?
I had my chat with Asmodeus, and I took my brief looks over to survey kind of the lay of this dish that they're all in. Similar to Atris's reconnaissance, Walter will try to eyeball from a distance where good staging areas for battles look to be advantageous for the group. But if, maybe I do or don't see what Atris sees.
Okay. Wits plus melee or wits plus survival, either one. And it's standard difficulty because you're just surveying.
I suppose I'll choose melee. It's an interesting one. Oh, Chad died. Don't fail me now. Oh, Chad died, didn't fail. Oh, what's next?
That's right.
Oh no, it led to a 1 in the end. All right.
The Chad die giveth and the Chad die taketh away.
It do be that way. I got 2 successes.
Okay. Much like Atris, with that amount of success, you get a good generic idea. Nothing brilliant comes to mind, but you see the 2 switchback wooden ramps and stairs, essentially, that pretty much you get the idea that they could walk 2 across if they were in full battle form. Those would be good choke points, especially if they're trying to get up to you guys. Climbing up the side of this ditch would be very, even with their claws, it would be something of an effort. So you don't assume that they would try that unless they were extremely desperate. Judging by the size of the village, you would get the idea that enough of them would be able to eventually push past, but it does. I'll say one idea that you don't get. Actually, give me a high or a low.
Low.
Okay. That was a 2, so that's low. An idea that you got that didn't maybe necessarily come to Atris is if you guys, again, in a coordinated effort, sabotaged those ramps, it might make it very difficult for them to be able to reach you guys at all, which would kind of make them a little bit more fish in the barrel. However, you do know that for the rifles, maybe not as much, but for the Gatling gun, there's a bit of a distance from the top of this ledge all the way down to the bottom of this ravine. So while some of the bullets might go, it might affect the accuracy of the shots from the Gatling gun, but coordinated shots with especially people like yourself and Henry and Asmodeus, who are trained marksmen, it might still be a advantageous thing. So that does cross your mind. Or if you made it collapse while enough of them were on it, you could do a bunch of damage if you somehow triggered it to fall while a huge number of them were climbing up it.
I am plotting, but I'm doing it real silent because I don't want us to get caught, and I don't even have anyone to talk to except Asmodeus. Well, I do have Asmodeus to talk to. You know what? I'll go tell Asmodeus this.
All right. Did you want to role play that out, or did you just want to say that you tell him?
I kind of had my scene with him. I'm good.
I will say you also, in the distance, kind of start to mark where those watch areas are, kind of thing. The 4 little squares that I showed you guys around the edge of this plane. So you kind of get the idea of where those are.
Hopefully these don't come in handy. These don't come in handy.
All right. For the party game, it's getting to be about that time where the moon is hitting the time we talked about. And you guys wait. I'll say Wea, you get there first because being an owl, you don't have to worry about kind of weaving. You're able to just cut straight there. Do you stay in owl form or do you transform back into Wea form?
Nah, owl form the whole way.
Okay. I'll say you land on a tree nearby in the branches, so that way it's kind of some cover. you do not see because you Atris and Bartleby, you find the frozen lake, you go around the edge of it, and you go back to the spot where you're supposed to be meeting. And Noah, you eventually get there too. Now, I will say common sense, Noah and Atris, you understand that because you guys lost eyesight with each other, you now can't really see each other. So are you going to keep obfuscated? Are you dropping the obfuscate? Just so I know.
I would ensure that we're not seen first, and
Okay.
then once safe, would drop obfuscate.
This is going to be funny enough, a wits plus stealth. This is a you looking around, ascertaining how well hidden you and Bartleby are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 rolls. That'll be 6 successes.
Okay. So then, with 6 successes, you find a place behind some rocks and a tree where you feel pretty well hidden. You're keeping your eyes on the ramp behind you. You're keeping an eye on the little fisherman's hut that's out here by the lake. You're keeping an eye on what seems to be the more walk paths, so that way from any direction you should be able to see if someone's approaching, and you feel pretty well hidden in this moment.
By this point, we'll say that because, of course, Silence of Death is a blood expenditure. She would have that dropped by this point, so she would be as quiet as possible.
Okay. And then you drop the obfuscate.
Yes.
Okay. You and Bartleby pop in, but you are hidden. So go ahead, Noah and Wea, give me a perception alertness roll, please. How many successes did you get, Atris?
6.
And
So the
Bartleby got
difficult-
2.
So the difficulty is 6.
I got 6 successes.
Damn. Okay.
That's high stealth people.
And then Wea, how'd you do?
Hold on.
I'm so good at seeing and
Uh,
not being seen.
9 successes as an
You look down directly beneath the branch that you're currently sitting on, and you see Atris and Bartleby fade into existence right below you.
Perfect.
And Noah, as you're approaching, it's only for a fraction of a second, but you think you see Bartleby kind of like looking behind, kind of like keeping an eye out for things, and you see him behind one of the trees.
I approach.
Okay. You're still obfuscated unless you decide to drop it.
No, not yet.
God damn it.
Go ahead and give me a Dex plus Stealth, please. Standard difficulty.
Good fun. All right.
So Bartleby has a human nose,
Yes.
and Noah has a particular odor.
True, but we did establish that obfuscate does affect odor too. Because it is a mass hypnosis of you don't see me.
So I got 4.
Okay. You feel you're being very stealthy. You are not heard. You are not seen as you approach them quiet. And Wea, you see 2 of them right below you.
In my head, I just think, I bet they think they're so stealthy right now.
All right, what are y'all doing?
Well, Atris will be just looking to see if she can catch anyone, because at this point she cannot see Wea or Noah.
I will.
Wea, Noah, you doing anything?
Bartleby will fold origami.
He doesn't have paper. You guys wait a few moments. Noah, you continue being a creeper. Where you continue being an owl. And
I'm practicing.
all of you give me a perception. All of you that are down there, give me a perception plus alertness roll, please. Difficulty 7.
It's Peter. He's in chains.
4 successes.
How many successes? 4 successes. And then Liam, you're rolling for Bartleby, yes? 2 successes for Bartleby, 4 successes for Noah.
As an owl, that's 10.
Okay. Well, you quite literally have a bird's eye view.
Yeah. I
So
see
I'll say,
everything.
where you notice this off in the distance, Noah and Atris notice this next, and Bartleby last. You see approaching, moving through, kind of keeping low to the ground, a brown wolf heading kind of a zigzag behind the inside structure. At first, it kind of puts you guys on high alert, and instinctively you almost go for your weapons in case you're being followed. But as the wolf gets closer, you recognize it as PETA's wolf form.
We could go double for H just because she has Aditic memory, so she'd be able to remember his form.
Yeah. And he gets back into that area, and you see him kind of hunker down and start to like look around and kind of sniff up in the air and everything else.
H will try to get his attention without really, revealing her location.
Okay. What do you do?
She'll just spot Peter and wave him down.
Okay. He walks over to you and then transforms back into human form. All right. There seems to be 2 of us. Where are the others?
I haven't seen them yet.
I will walk off the branch
Okay.
and fall on Atris's shoulder.
All right. You flutter down, and there's surprise owl. As
Kill it.
There's the little bit of shock at first, but you quickly realize that it's way up.
I look at Atris, then I spin my entire head around and I look at PETA.
There you go. Glad to see you made it back. All right. Now we just need Noah. Has anyone seen him?
I break obfuscate with only 4 words. I say, "I'm here. Let's go," and then I cloak the gathering without their opinions.
Okay. All right. I need you all to make a group Dex plus stealth.
I'm good at those. Three, 4. Waitress.
Oh no.
Got a 5.
Don't say it that way.
Well, the owl stats are swinging back right now.
Hootie hoot, fly by yourself.
1 success.
Oof. Okay. 1 success for you. How many for 4 successes for Bartleby? How many for Atris?
4.
4. Noah?
4.
4. Okay, 4 seems to be the good. Let's see how PETA does. That's 3 successes for PETA. So all in all, you feel relatively stealthy. Luckily, Wea, since you're riding on Atris's shoulder, it's not really much up to you. It's not exactly like you're going to step on a twig or anything like that. So you're not particularly feeling stealthy, but then you're also not particularly actively participating in the stealth. You're just along for the ride. There is a point as you guys start to ascend the switchback ramp where you see a couple of lupines coming down. But you're able to kind of press up against the side of the plateau and press against flat as they walk past, and they don't seem to notice you. You continue back up. About a half an hour later, you're going around the edge of the outer plateau, and you make your way back to the cavern entrance that leads down to where you guys were. And you see about 10 to 15 feet back in around the corner, you see the carriage, the horses, Asmodeus, and Walter. And also, I'd say by this time, you see Sonoy and Henry and Liam as they are back from being deeper within the cavern.
Hello?
I mean, those of you that are obfuscated, you know that you're obfuscated, so you're probably going to have to like initiate something in order to.
I'm along for the ride.
Question.
Yeah.
Does Sonoy look visibly happy about his walk today?
His what today?
His walk. He got walked a little bit back and forth.
Sonoy, go ahead and give me a perception plus animal ken.
Perception animal Ken?
Yes.
Would that be for Sonoy or me?
You.
Oh.
You're trying to see if he
Oh.
looks happy.
I
You're trying to see
thought
if
you
he
said
looks happy
Sonoy.
about-
I was like,
No.
You did, but
This is for if Sonoy looks happy about his walk. So
I got 4 successes.
okay. Sonoy doesn't particularly look happy. He seems more alert. His eyes, he's laying down, but he is definitely upright and fixated at the entrance of the cavern. And you get the idea that with Wea gone, he is very adamantly taking his role as a guard very seriously. So in the time that you've known the Spurs, you know that Sonoy is not like though he is a Gould companion of Wea, he's not like a domesticated dog, and he doesn't exactly like play a whole lot. He takes his role pretty seriously.
yeah, he is a wild animal.
All right.
If Noah doesn't do anything since Atris isn't under her own obfuscation, she's just gonna simply snap her fingers to make herself appear.
Okay. Atris, you pop up in front of everybody.
Am I still obfuscated?
Technically, yes, because you have done nothing to break
Aha!
obfuscate. So Atris just shows up in front of the carriage.
Oh shit! Spook me like that.
There's a brief moment where Asmodeus, Atris, you look up, and from on top of the carriage, there are 2 pistols
Yeah.
being aimed at you, and then he just kind of gives you a nod and like unlocks the hammers of the pistols, and
at that point you hear a gun being cocked, and it's Bartleby on the side pointing at Asmodeus just for funsies.
Good old Mexican standoff.
you know what? Asmodeus gives him a respectful nod, and just he does not seem offended by it. Okay, so yeah, Atris, you pop back into existence.
Well, as far as I know, no one. Everyone is behind me. I don't know why no one isn't revealing everyone, but it seems we have not been made, and we seem to have succeeded in our information gathering.
Really? I was kind of worried y'all were going in there to die before we even get a chance to do anything.
I throw my hands up and just go, bah humbug!
Okay,
Ruin the fun.
So, yes. So and then with Noah breaking it and him being the one, so now at this point, Wea, you do pop up on Atris's shoulder.
Oh.
So yeah, at this point, everyone
Things
is
back
now
together.
Yeah, everyone's back.
All right. So were the letters successfully delivered?
Yes.
Well, hopefully they agree to
Well, one
terms and
was.
only one was delivered for sure, or
No,
Just
both
a-
were delivered. Just one successful.
oh,
Okay. So
were you attacked?
No, I'd say that was pretty good.
I'm still confused, but you're not dead, so that's a
Accidentally
plus.
wad one up and throw it at him or something.
Sorta, but I only talked to one of them.
You talked to one of them?
Yeah.
What?
I'll hop off the Atrish's shoulder and I'll transform back.
Okay. PETA is looking at Nora and going, why did you speak with one of them? What how why?
How?
Because he spoke to me. Is that not reason enough to reply?
Who?
Hey, that's my line. As I'll like pull a feather out of my mouth.
Grab a
No,
snack
It
on
took
your way
this
back.
long, but it
So what?
finally happened.
That's the way you do, but it's so
Oh,
funny.
Chad's been sitting on that one since the beginning of the campaign.
Oh yeah, nested on it, dude.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, but you talked to one?
Yeah.
He talked to you? What's happening?
Okay, did you initiate? Did he initiate? Like, what happened to have that happen? Because I feel like I'm gonna have to drag this out of you.
Were there flowers? Are we getting married? What's going on?
I was gonna put it in his pocket, but the man put out the fire and said, "Hey there, I see you," and I was like, "You don't see me." And
Okay,
obviously,
so-
when
Oh,
I
my
said
goodness.
that, I popped out of obfuscate.
All right, so because I know initially the plan was for them to come here tomorrow, but of course we were just assuming that the letters would be dropped off and hopefully they're read. So is he at least coming?
No,
Why do
said
I
that-
even put out the silverware?
he said that even giving an offering was too local for him to perform, so he couldn't use that excuse to get away. What he did do was promise that he would make time for us, as long as we spill no blood. Zero violence. You hear me? I look up at the top of the carriage.
Why do I even put out the silver bullets?
Well, there is always the possibility that Mr. Sinclair will read the note and come by tomorrow evening, so we should be prepared for that at least.
PETA speaks up and goes, who did you speak to? What did he look like?
He was a very respectable man. He spoke kindly to me. What else
describe
can I
his
tell you
looks.
about him? Oh, his looks. No, he doesn't look very good. He looks poorly because I say his eyesight is terrible, actually. He had to have it fixed by a doctor.
Oh no.
This is where we're at.
This doesn't look good at all, dude.
Well, high or low?
We're going high. This is a high, baby.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Oh,
It's so good. It's so
You
good.
see PETA's eyes flash like yellow for a second as if he's about to transform, and then he just kind of talks himself down. And Henry is sitting there rubbing, like he takes off his glasses, slowly folds them up, puts them in his pocket, rubs one of the temples of his head, and goes, "No."
you could give me a lesson in invasion.
I need you to really do what you do good and dig deep here
Okay, I got my shovel.
physically. Give
Yeah,
us
I got it here.
description of what the individual who you spoke to looks like.
Wait, I'll make it easy. White guy, old fart, lady with one arm, dude from Egypt. Who'd you get?
Just imagine Gandalf with glasses.
Okay, we don't know who that is in this universe, so we're gonna say old guy.
Yeah,
Sorry.
old man.
Color
He,
name.
he was like,
If I could take away an intelligence point to justify your character's
Swear to God.
choices.
Oh my gosh.
if you did that, I'm pretty sure I would choke on my tongue. I have 1 point.
It shows, and it is overly generous.
Okay, so you spoke to Looking Glass.
Yes.
You said
Uh,
he's not coming. Okay. You said he was giving us time to do what?
To prove our innocence. He's such a nice guy.
Okay, so he's expecting us to find the evidence of Ichitai's or of rather Murakuru's eyes.
He doesn't know about that.
Okay. That was in the note.
Well, then he might know about that. I didn't
Okay.
read the note. I can't read.
Okay. Well, it's in their language. None of us can
Hey,
read
brother.
Hello, wife hand. That brings me food.
it.
Oh, good God.
All right. So hopefully Mr. Sinclair picks up his letter and we get his company tomorrow if possible. But this might mean we have to do another covert operation into the the village to try and find those eyes.
That's okay. The old man promised I'd be safe if I came back to look for things. But only for proving my innocence. He said something about if I try to get rid of these werewolves, he's going to bring the full extent of his strength and pain on me. Something like that.
Okay, that's important.
So we have time, as much time as we want, as long as we don't kick off the war.
At least from this fellow.
Yeah, just from this one guy. No one else talked to me about this.
Bartleby, did you hear anything useful?
I don't know.
And then
Did
Bartleby
tell you?
will go over with Leah regarding what he heard about.
Yeah,
Mostly what Bartleby found interesting was that they were referring to the leech that's been sucking the land out, and like that obviously is not reference to us specifically, but the old thing in the mountain.
And when he says that,
well, hold on. Bartleby didn't say shit yet.
Oh, okay.
I have to play Bartleby sometime.
Bartleby speaks to him and goes, well, master, most of them were speaking in languages I couldn't understand, but two of them seemed to be talking and seemed to be here only out of a sense of duty, and while avenging their leader's death was important, dealing with the corruption out of Taylorsville seems to be the more pressing issue. If most of them, of at least their group, seem to feel like if that was handled, the other stuff could be handled internally.
And then just from my actual memory, I remember something about them talking about problems back home and need to take care of their own people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully some of the coin I sent in his letter will be a little bit of an enticement.
And you all do remember that the original deal that you had with Murakuro is if you guys handled the deal with the elder yourselves, there wouldn't be a need for the Lupine to go to war to cleanse the land, essentially. Peta speaks up and goes, I met with an old friend of mine, and things were tense for a moment. But in the end, it seems he believes me that I had no part of Murakuro's murder. And it seems that there are those here that it seems the slander of my name may have shown a weakness that Ichitai did not think of. It seems that many of my close friends, or many who knew me, knew that I would not betray our leader. And for him to claim that I sided with your lot to murder him raised doubt about the rest of the tale. They just don't know what the truth is. If it's revealed, there might be a good number of Ichitai's forces that turn against him.
That's good news.
I've gotten at least 5 of them to agree to spread word among the non-combatants, the elderly, the infirmed, the children, to be ready to try and escape 2 nights from now in the middle of the night while most would be asleep.
They agree to that?
They
Based on
agree
what
to
you're
spread the
talking?
word. I don't know how many are agreeing to try and get out.
It's a work in progress.
To start?
Oh,
Well, to add in what I learned, they got let's see here. They got flags from every group. Let's see here. They have like 300 structures with warriors in them. Not all of them are wolves. Some are still canine. But it does look like they have a formidable force. But if they do break off, we can definitely have the advantage. Things that I also learned was Ichitai is obviously power hungry, but he plans. Did I hear right that he wants to pin the corruption on us and blame it on us?
I mean,
I mean, to
your,
him,
yeah, not your group specifically. It is more of
the us as like people.
you know that vampires are seen by werewolves as an abomination to the natural order, which is the whole thing that they are supposed to protect. Not just life and death, but like nature, and death is part of nature. So you guys, that's one of many reasons why just by nature your very existence is an enemy to lupine culture. The only thing you got from it is that he's basically pinning this all together. Not necessarily that the corruption is your guys' fault, but that it's a showing that an uprising of vampires between the corruption of the land, between the assassination of Murakuro, it's him trying to convince them that the war has already begun, that this is already signs of incursion and conflict, and that this isn't starting a war, this is answering one that you guys have already started and meeting it head on.
Yeah. And I also went to Sinclair's tent, and he honestly just wants to go home. There's trouble brewing where he's from. Something about the Weaver and an uptick of abominations. Something about crossing plains, and it seems that traveling between them has gotten harder for them. I don't know exactly what that means, but it really seems like he's just trying to get out of here and go back home. Something's going on over there. So
well, that would also make a very specific implication. Did they not come here by boat?
They did not. I mean, I don't know for sure, but it really seemed like they wanted to travel back as soon as possible. So I do not think they took a boat here. I think they did their weird spooky stuff and traveled through the plains.
PETA speaks up at this point and he goes, it is a common ability of my people to be able to slide between the spirit realm and the physical plane through reflective surfaces, usually mirrors or things of that nature. With how quickly the other tribes got here, I would assume that that was their main method of travel. For those who are untrained and unfamiliar with the spirit realm, it can be dangerous as it is, but in short, the Weaver is it is chaos embodied. It is the undoing of the natural world. It is the corruption of nature itself and the perversion of it. Not to offend, but many of my people feel that your kind are children of the Weaver, that you were created by the Weaver to sow discontent and corruption in the lands. But for those who can walk between the planes, distance is not the same as it is in the physical realm. It is taxing, and those who have to travel a great distance via the spirit plane are often quite tired by the time they arrive, but it is a way to cut one's journey down greatly in time.
Yeah, he just wants to get out of here. And so
He said that it was harder.
it's getting harder. He wants to go home before it's too difficult. So something is making it more difficult for them to travel. I don't know if that means like locally, like entirely, or that means like Peter said, like the distance makes it harder.
Also, Wea, when you were given your insight into their meeting that was going on, didn't Ichitai say something about the moon itself? Does the moon affect your ability to travel between planes?
I know from what Peter got.
It does, in the sense that, as I mentioned, when our first transformation happens, though we have learned how to transform at any time, the cycle of the moon that we first transform in has special meaning and gives us special strength. And there are times when the spiritual plane and the physical plane, the barrier is thinner and thus easier to traverse for both our people, natural spirits, and also the corrupted creatures of the Weaver. If Lord Sinclair is worried of the paths being more heavily guarded by the Weaver's minions, that could be cause for his concern if the path is becoming more unsafe.
And if my memory serves me correctly, what we got from Michael and from, oh my god, what was her name? Tiny little thing stuck in child form forever. Marianne.
That's the one.
They did indicate that Clementine spoke to the creature in the mountain, but it's not physically there, it's through a doorway. So that might be causing their travels to be stalled or become more dangerous if it's close enough to the corruption. I'm just tying things together, and this is all circumstantial, really, but it's possible.
Is it possible for one of our kind to have learned how to step through planes like that? And that's maybe what he's trying to do. To get here
all of you can give me, at that question, all of you can give me a int plus occult.
I allowed to just say back to him that's what Elizabeth was doing.
I mean, for that, yes. I just wanted to see what other knowledge
1 success.
0.
Let's try this. I have 0 because I don't have a cult, so my 6 doesn't count.
Touching Noah's finger.
So no one got above a 1, correct?
I got 2.
Oh, 2. Okay.
I'm also the one that postulated the question.
Indeed. Walter, you do remember that Elizabeth was able to at least spiritually traverse between planes. She had to leave her physical body behind, so it sounds like these guys are actually physically moving with their entire, it's not just their spirit, their entire body is moving with them. But at least she was able to do that. So you like, your people do believe in planal change. However, it is extremely rare. Like, it is something that you hear. You've heard rumors of certain, especially most people don't know much about the Sabbat anymore because they've been supposedly extinct for quite some time now. But anyone with really high levels of aspects, whether it be the Malkavians, whether it be the Tremere, or not the Tremere, the Toreador, can project their essence in across the planes. You've heard, I'll say with 2 successes, Danny, you've heard rumors of the Giovanni and their abilities with supposed necromancy, being able to traverse the planes of life and death. You've heard and kind of seen a little bit of Delphina being able to traverse through shadows and cross distance that way. As a matter of fact, Delphina's grandsire, all those La Sombra that came over from Italy,
That's right.
They apparated.
Appeared in a giant shadow portal that opened up, and they kind of just walked through it. So this idea of physically moving through space by use of supernatural means does not seem an extremely far-fetched concept.
I assume to move an army takes quite a bit of power. And I'm assuming the full moon might be the best way to do that.
I just think it's crazy that how we travel and how they travel can be connected.
I think if it's just through those planes and multiple creatures of different supernatural means have similar abilities, it's easy to assume that they cross the same barriers.
Hurts my head.
Oh, if only I could have that kind of travel ability.
Oh, combined with stealth and silence, it would make us completely undetectable and invincible.
I don't know if I'd want to stop touching the ground we're standing on. Sounds weird.
Oh, well,
Flight would be a very weird feeling for you, then, Walter.
Atris does want to ask PETA, the gemstone I provided you, did that give you the insight on locating your father's eyes?
For this first night, my main focus was reconnecting with my friend and seeing if I had any who believed me and would spread the message. I hope that there will be time to look later.
It's definitely going to be our biggest piece of proving ourselves is finding those eyes, finding that eye.
Henry speaks up and he goes, that brings us to a very interesting point. Knowing now what we know, and with the time that we have, what's the plan from here? We have many ways we can go about this. Are we trying to prove your innocence, or are we taking out the leaders, all of them, some of them? If your end goal here is to get these people to leave, what are we doing? Because we are quickly running out of time and we need to have a plan. And I and Bartleby and PETA can do what we can during the day, but most of you are limited to what you can do at night. So what is the plan from here?
We had a plan. The plan was drop off letters.
And I
Our new
believe,
plan is, are they
eyes.
coming tomorrow?
so are we holding off and waiting till tomorrow evening to see if who arrives and going based off of that information?
If diplomacy is still the plan, then it appears that we will have to wait another night, especially if we need to use another night to locate said evidence.
So tomorrow, if one of the leaders does come by the parlay, we have another group go in and search for the eyes. And I think we go from there.
In addition to that, we
If
might
it's
need a
not
little
late,
bit of.
but
Oh, yes.
I'm actually asking storyteller, is it like night? You know, is it it's not dawn.
No, it's pushing about like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, well,
late
it's kind of late.
Just because by the time you guys got here, by the time the away team traversed all the way around this ridge, got down, did their investigating, came back up the ridge, back around.
Yeah.
They've been out for a couple hours by this point.
So we don't. So all right, I'm not gonna make a dumb suggestion about tonight.
Well, please do. That's what this game's about.
Don't worry, I'll have plenty another way.
I don't doubt it at all.
The thing we need is to find the damn eyes. Like no one here has a reason to believe us unless they can see into our souls or whatever that lady did.
That happened to me.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it
She
happened to
looked
all
at
of
me
us down
and-
there in the pond.
No, not the watcher, the old guy. The old guy, he looked at me and his eyes did the thing, and I was like, hello? Okay.
You ran into someone looked into your
Yeah, right
Huh?
up in my soul. It was weird. It was like the fourth time already, and I'm still weirded out. He likes me though. Me and him, I think we're friends now. He said we're not allies, but I think we're friends.
Asmodeus looks at Noah and goes, at this point, y'all better start like charging admission.
I'm pretty sure my brain has a velvet rope that just says triple X above it.
Oh, gosh.
so that mean he knows why we're here? Does he know about us? Did
Oh
you
yeah,
tell-
and he knows that we're getting rid of all the werewolves in this valley too.
At this point, Asmodeus is pointing his pistol at Noah.
It's okay, everybody. I told him I can't do it by myself.
Oh my god.
I look around the group at everyone near me.
Henry's
No, not
just,
by myself.
Henry's just sitting there going, Henry is pinching the bridge of his nose and going, we have no one to blame but ourselves. We sent him in unsupervised. We did this to ourselves. We have shot ourselves in the proverbial foot.
Well,
This
I told
might
you
be a
guys, I'm
good
not
time
good
for
at
me
this.
to. What was that, Noah?
I said I'm not good at this. I warned you guys. I warned you.
Sure didn't stop you. You know what? This might be a good time to share something I saw. Turns out this whole bowl that they're all camped out in don't have a lot of ways up. And even if someone's a real damn good climber, if we could just kind of muss up, blow up this ramp thing they got leading up, we could just take pot shots down at them all day. They'd all night anyhow. They'd have a real hard time getting up to us in any kind of number or speed.
Asmodeus looks
Set up at
visibly
the top.
excited.
Liam gets really excited for a moment and like runs to the carriage real quick and starts rummaging around through like the stuff that he brought with him. He's like, I've been holding on to this dynamite since the freaking silver mine.
Oh shit.
Asmodeus and Bartleby look visibly excited.
Oh, you pyros.
Hmm.
You guys are wasting your money. I can do that with my shovel.
Oh.
That would
Asmodeus-
require sending you back down in there, Noah, and I don't think we're gonna agree to that without help.
Asmodeus kind of looks at Noah and goes, "Your shovel explodes?"
My shovel fells rock.
But not as good as dynamite.
No, it takes me time, of course.
God damn it.
Okay, so boomsticks aside, I do have a question for PETA, and no, I will not explain my question after I ask it. Your people, their ears, are they very sensitive? High-pitched frequencies or even supernatural sounds, do those bother?
We are usually quite perceptive and good at hearing, so yes, a loud or high-pitched sound might be irritating to some, painful to others, depending on how piercing it is.
Good to know.
Way it just like strokes the wolf ears. That's like laden behind it. Well, at least we have a plan of battle, some way to funnel in our targets.
So the
So
plan
we
is
could- Oh. Okay, so
The plan is diplomacy, and if that fails, we have to have a backup plan of fighting.
how many ins and outs do we have from this Calder?
PETA speaks up, I believe, 3. It is to be thought of, though, that if some of my people realize that we are under attack and the crossways are blocked, there are some who have the ability to slide through planes and could slide through at the bottom and arrive at the top. Granted, that might drain them a bit, but if they were desperate enough to get to us, there would be at least a handful of them that would be able to do this. So we should prepare for that contingency.
But
Hey,
we can't.
Asmodeus, you think that gun can mow down a handful?
She can handle it.
So we have boomy sticks that we can take out some of those bridges that we've seen.
Henry speaks up and he goes, yes, my question. Let's best case scenario. We
It will never happen that way, but let's try.
you prove your innocence. You prove that you are not guilty of the murder of Murkuro, and let's just spitball this as best we can. Let's go one step further and say you even prove that Ichitai is the true criminal.
That's what we're actually here to prove, man.
Hopefully, some of them, in disgust, just pack up their things and leave. So that excludes them. Hopefully, then the rest turn on themselves and start fighting among themselves. What is our plan from there? Do we take out some key figures? Do we use that as an escape? Do we take down as many of the combatants as we can? What is our plan when all hell breaks loose and a civil war among battle-ready lupines begins?
Was there a
We
well
go
in the
home.
village?
You know what?
Oh, I'm sorry. What was that question?
Was there a well in the village? Did any of you see one?
I can't
Bartleby,
remember.
was there a well?
Yes, Master. There was several of them. Not to
Good.
mention the
I
actual.
have silver bombs. Poison the water supply, make it so that they can't possibly
super
stay
cool.
here if it becomes that tempting to leave.
Yeah, when chaos ensues, we just make it worse, blow up the resources,
You
choke
know,
them out.
that let's be straight here. We're not on a diplomacy mission. We're using that to thin the herd, as it were. We're
It's-
here to
Yes.
accomplish a moving of folks of kind that's at odds with ours and our goal. Once we get them that don't want to deal with a traitorous bastard like Ichitai out of here, then the ones left behind are the ones we care about convincing physical means. If they're gonna squabble over who gets to be the biggest fish, sounds like only, what was that dude, 10 bears? Only one of them cares enough to try to challenge him anyway and wants to stay bad enough for that. Then what happens if Ichitai gets taken out? In fact, what happens if we maybe made a deal with that dude and said, hey, we can take out Ichitai for you, or make sure it happens if you want. And then
Hey guys, listen, wait. That old guy, he knows about Murokuro's secret. He knows about the abandoned son. Well, not abandoned. I'm sorry, Peter.
Peter looks very awkward at this point, and
Wow.
he knew.
Also, you're adopted.
Yeah, totally, guys. He said that there is another son who must have been protecting Murokuro. So someone is aware that Murokuro has a lineage. There's a contingency. What's that
So-
mean?
Allow me to clarify this. Are you suggesting we seat this young man in power?
Would this young man move his tribe out of the danger? I look at Peter.
I'm for the first time since you guys have really known PETA, you remember that this is a 17-year-old young man, and it shows in this moment of him. This look of fear and panic comes across his face.
Atreus, show him your boobs.
Looks at Atreus, looks back to the group, looks at Atreus, looks back to the group.
I'm sorry, I just needed to give you a distraction.
My plan is to help move as many of my people that would be willing to leave out of danger, but I'm.
And that is what good leaders do, young one.
I am not experienced or knowledgeable. I am not worthy to lead these people.
No, but you are the rightful heir.
If
You're
not, you.
definitely, yeah, you're definitely a little bit better of a choice than Ichitai. He's about to kill your whole clan off against what? 6 people here? 7?
Blood ties sometimes goes deeper than experience.
I think heart goes down deeper than experience, because this dude who's in power right now ain't trying to do good by any of y'all.
Also,
You
I
are.
don't know the rules for your tribe. Is it do you have to be the one to kill him? Does it have to be honorable combat? I don't know any of these things. Although I'm assuming patricide is the #1 way to get yourself disqualified when it wasn't an honorable kill.
I'm sad to say that I think there would be some of my people that would follow Ichitai regardless of the truth, especially those that were co-conspirators of him, who felt that my father was too weak in his ruling and allowed encroachment from both European settlers and your kind to progress too far without taking action. Those probably, if they don't already know the truth, wouldn't care if they heard it. Those that did, there would probably be an uprising to avenge Murakuro's killing, as he was well loved by many of our people. Others who are honor bound would do it out of a sense of duty. As far as succession, I can't say that the murdering of our chiefs is a common occurrence, thankfully. By rights, Ichitai would have inherited the right to rule. Naturally, however, it seems he wished to speed things up considerably. If a leader is killed or without heirs, or his people have lost faith in him, he can be exiled and a new leader chosen from amongst the people.
And who better than the one who wants to look after his people the most?
So at the end of the day, popularity contest. Should know politics always trumps truth.
Asmodeus just speaks up. So y'all gonna vote on the popularity of a bastard? And you can see the like flinch of PETA but he doesn't fight it. He just kind of looks down at the dirt, and Asmodeus just goes, "What? We were all thinking it."
I don't think Noah was.
Does your people have marriage?
And PETA looks at you and goes, "Yes."
Oh, that's a surprise. I thought it was a Bible thing.
They aren't Christian, but ceremonies binding two individuals together exist.
You know the Bible is not the only religious text out there.
You make Siamese twins? That's some Simishi shit right there.
I have no idea what you are talking about in this moment.
So, we have contingencies. We have a young man who's not ready to lead, but it's actually the more obvious choice for those who are willing to follow. We have a bastard to kill, which is always fun for me. We have boomsticks to blow up escape
metaphorical bastard.
Right, Asmodeus kind of like points at PETA and goes, "Oh yeah."
No. Oh, well, I would say something else, except I don't know anything about Ichitai or your mother for that matter, so I'm going to avoid that phrase.
No, let's
Although
talk
for a
about their
female
mothers.
wolf, that seems to be more fitting. Oh, but
Also got a lot of bullets for whatever
yes.
doesn't get covered by all that.
Essentially, we have a vantage point of being able to pick them off like fish in a barrel. I have something that could be rather irritating that I'm planning on for later. But we do need to see how things go with Mr. Sinclair, because if we can at least get him to not participate or offer him something better, that will at least lighten the load. And we also need to see about proving that we are not the ones who took Murakuro's eyes. And quite frankly, it's stupid if we had them, why we'd even be here, because we'd be able to tell enough of the future to either think that we would succeed regardless, or we're stupid enough to be that arrogant. And while I can be at times, this is not one of those times.
It's okay, I already told Looking Glass we're stupid.
Henry says, "Well, at least you were honest about that."
Can't say you were wrong.
I'm sorry, is someone doubting my intelligence who made a soul demon deal?
You did a what? You think that's intelligent? A what?
Henry just
That's
skips.
bad.
Henry skips over the comment. My point being, so that I understand, our plan is to find the eyes, use them as hopefully on Ichitai's person or with one of his followers that we can get to admit to the crime. Hope that that causes enough infighting and abandoning of their cause to thin the herd. We then plan to kill certain members that stay behind to fight to further disrupt losing one group of lupines just for another to step in, and also corrupt the land enough to make it undesirable for any particular lupine group to continue to call this space their home, if I'm understanding correctly.
Roughly.
Unless you have a
yeah.
better idea.
We just take it step by step and we pick the best option when it arises. We have
The thing
multiple
on-
options on how to do this. We just have to wait for the right opportunity and strike.
Asmaris goes, fuck, I'm in as long as I get to shoot something.
It all
See, we
sounded
just-
on level for me.
It sounds like as long as we don't fuck this up prematurely, we actually might have a good chance of walking away from this. Honestly, this doesn't seem... I've fought battles with a lot less tactics than this.
It's just a shame that this caldera isn't surrounded by one large water dam that we could just breach, flood the whole thing, and call it a day.
I'm sorry, it can't be that easy.
Y'all can swim, right? I asked Peter.
The average amount of us, as many as the average group of people, yes.
So I suppose the more immediate plan is how do we go? We'd have the gemstone, of course, to find the eyes. It probably would not be a good idea for us to physically handle the eyes because unless we put it back on Ichitai or whoever, then it's gonna make it seem like we took the eyes.
So we find the eyes, we don't touch them, and we tell either Looking Glass or one of our conspirators to look for them in that spot.
Sell them out.
And immediately after that, we send the whole tribe letters inviting them back to my mine. I think they'd find it really comfy up in the silver mines.
Ugh.
My superiors had told me to move them. They didn't say where.
So, who's going in when Sinclair comes to visit as the stealth group to go find the eyes?
Well,
Naturally, should be me.
The stealthiest people need to go to do this because this is the breaking point of whether or not we're going to be able to clear our names.
When you say stealthiest, are you talking people who can be the most invisible or the people who are the best at understanding how to keep out of trouble when one's talking to them? Walter
Yes,
stares at Noah.
Oh, me. I know how to go invisible.
So naturally, I will be the one doing this.
my plan is to be here to actually have the meeting with Sinclair.
Well,
And Henry says, I'm fine being in either party as I can see the benefit of being here. So Sinclair, there should be a decent amount of muscle here in case Sinclair does not take us up on our offer and instead decides to turn on you all and sees this as an opportunity to do so. A show of force might deter that, though I can also be part of the infiltration team and try and look for the eyes and nullify any threats before they sound an alarm as well.
I can step lightly, but I can't I probably can't do much if I go down in there, especially not if I have to chat with one of them. So
Maybe
I'll probably stay up here.
my guess, Atris, Peta, Henry.
If you guys want to talk to them, let me know. I'll bring you down. They know exactly when I show up. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's because you smell.
Is that why?
But having the stealthiness, the silence, and then some sort of brains behind that to help figure out where these are, because
I think that
we need everyone else here.
like that Peter and Henry with me would be more than enough powder to make sure that while we stay small and stealthy, if we encounter any trouble, we should be able to handle ourselves.
I agree.
Peter goes, of course I will help find this. I agree that given what you all are without the eyes, any hope we have of convincing anyone of anything goes out. Without those, it's pointless.
It's how we save the most lives.
And Henry says, well, I of course am happy to help as best I can.
Where else in your travels are you going to walk directly into a werewolf stronghold, Henry?
It will be educational if I can survive it. Asmodeus goes, sure, I can stay here in case the flea bags decide to go savage. I can make sure that they know their place.
I think you're the ace in the hole, actually, Asmodeus, in this case.
You know it. That's why I'm here. And Bartleby speaks up and goes, Master, I can stay here to assist you in any way you need.
That will be preferable.
And at this point, Sonoy walks up and sits next to Leia and just and kind of just sits there and looks focused on whatever he needs to do.
I don't know if I've ever asked this. Maybe I have. Does Sonoy understand their language?
I actually can't remember if you've asked Sonoy this or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at Peta and be like, Peta, will Sonoy understand your language?
If any of my kind are in their wolf form and are speaking as wolves do, then yes, he would. As far as the language of the Guru, it is as many
guttural
languages
tone.
are, it is a taught language among my people
Okay.
that he probably would not understand. And he looks at Sonoy and he just kind of gives a nod, and Sonoy kind of looks at him, and they seem to have like a moment of understanding though.
Speaking of things your people understand, would they understand the smell of Sonoy more than our smell, or could his smell mask ours? If we were to say, rub ourselves in his juices.
What is wrong with you? This is asking.
Survival is what's wrong.
First off,
I have zero survival.
like Sonoy starts growling a little bit under it. There's just a low, coming over. First off, Noah, please do not rub yourself in the wolf's juices. Secondly, I don't think he can mask your scent, as I've been traveling with you for some time now, and I have been blessed enough to enjoy your fragrance for quite some time. I do think that he would smell mostly as a wolf, though the amount of time he has spent among you all, and as my understanding is, there is some of any gestures that way you flowing through him, which might taint the smell slightly.
So he rolled around in Weya's juices is the problem.
Nobody's rolling in my juices.
Uh,
I don't even have what? Wait,
Uh,
what?
Asmodeus is like, tell that to Delphina.
Don't
I
be
tell
jealous.
you, women talk.
yeah, we do.
Hey, if that's your thing, I do not fault you. You came out still existing on the other side, so hope it was worth it.
I mean, technically speaking, Way is the closest to a werewolf as any of us will get.
And at this point, Peter's just like, no, he is not.
So, is there a point to what we're speaking about right now?
I feel like we have our plan. We just, I don't know. It's all we give each other all the information.
Yes. So
they did say that scouts picked up a trail, and there were
Wait, of
they did
us?
they didn't say our trail specifically. They said a trail. Now
Oh, well, they were.
that could also be the trail of the soldiers that left the keep or the stronghold. Could be them that they're talking about.
Might be that trail of blood from the bear,
Yeah, and I wonder what's to do with that.
or it might be that fire I set.
What
It might
fire?
be the fire.
whoa,
fire.
hold on. What the
Fire.
hell are you talking about?
The fire.
Yes,
You guys
what
all-
fire?
Yeah,
Yeah, back at the
saying that.
fort.
We discussed no one setting a fire at the fort.
No, we discussed someone setting a fire, and a lot of people said no.
Yeah, everyone said no. What do you mean? The fires were out when we left.
The fires were out when we left. I nod my head and continue.
Asmodeus pulls one of his pistols, aims it at
Noah.
Noah.
For the
like,
third
I'm gonna
time
shoot him.
today.
I'm gonna shoot him.
At this point, I would not stop you.
So we have no fallback fortress.
Oh, of course we do. I didn't set fire to all of it.
What?
Just enough to piss off the Americans.
What? Right now, we're the Americans who wanted to use the damn fort.
Okay. Moving on. I don't even know where we go at this point right now.
Not to a fort.
Henry sits there and goes, all right. Before this goes any more off the rails than it currently has, those who can be awake during the day will take it in turns to keep watch, just to make sure that no one finds us here while you all rest. PETA, I think, could best be used being as stealthily as he can, trying to be in communication with those who are still friendly to him to get better information on what number of support we can expect from those that were loyal to Murakuro. Have them be our eyes and ears if they have any idea of where Ichitai may be keeping the eyes.
Spies on the inside.
Hopefully, tomorrow evening, at least some of the Lupines, perhaps by the Sinclair or others, will come to hear the pitch and see what aid they can offer, where they stand in this, and hopefully that does not devolve into conflict. We then have our away team that goes and searches for the eyes, because finding that information is crucial to proving your innocence and getting as many people either to abandon this cause or fight against Ichitai. We then use the confusion of that conflict to allow PETA to help his people who cannot fight escape, and for us to take out any potential successors to this land and to destroy it for future use. We then use the ensuing chaos to try and get the hell out of here as quickly as possible before they realize what's happening. Get far enough away and then perhaps have Wea come back as an owl to survey at maybe a night or two afterwards to see how effective our plan was. We can then plan from there if there is any follow-up sweep up that we need to do, or if the mission is completed and we may return home and say that the mission was a success.
Sounds about right.
I would suggest that in case of something going wrong, that the other plan is before this all kicks off, we find a way to subtly and in a somewhat hidden way prep the ramps so that way they may be used and destroyed at the right signal in case the Lupines realize that we are up here and we need to cover an escape. If nothing else, it may hurt a good number of them and buy us the time we need to get out of here. We have to also decide which way are we planning on escaping? Are we planning on going back through the Watcher's entrance? Or
We
are we
already
planning
passed that test.
Or are we planning on leaving through the main gate in the confusion?
I think going back from where we came would probably be the best. Going through the main gate just sounds like slaughter.
The trouble is, we're trying to get through.
Don't look at the carriage with the machine gun as we're running through the front door.
Well,
that doesn't sound very good.
The Watcher put our machine gun through for us the first time, but I don't think she'd be willing to help us in the middle of a war the second time.
Hey, that's the smartest thing you said all night.
I said something good?
What does everyone else think? Do we go back or do we go through the main gate?
I think I'm at a point where I don't want to decide this tonight.
Very well. Henry goes, it is something to consider. It is also something to consider, and he looks at Asmodeus and breathes deeply, that in the worst case scenario, if we have to sacrifice for speed, the carriage may have to be abandoned if we are being actively pursued, and the horses unhitched from a carriage can move faster than those laden by the weight of the carriage. And Asmodeus, once again, guns still out, is now pointing them at Henry, and he goes, I understand that this is a not favorable outcome, and of course we will avoid it at all costs. I am simply speaking to the group that we might have to consider it as a possibility if it is between that and our survival.
Well,
this might be another dumb idea today, but what if we put the carriage on the other side of the lake and watch the entrance for them coming in? I think it'd be real hard for them to cross that big old lake of sleepy weed.
that is an option of if we want, though if it is across the lake, it will do us little good in the conflict, but if we want to make sure that it is protected, that is another option. But I think if you all wish to rest, I think now would be a good time. I know I, for one, am extremely tired and need to sleep.
Been a long night.
It has been. There's a lot going on.
It's been productive to say the least.
All right. Is there anything else anyone wants to accomplish tonight, or are you all good with letting the rest of the time play out and you all bed down for the dawn?
Yeah, I'm good with bedding down.
Yeah,
I'm good with
I think I'm done everything I wanted to.
Okay. Then I will say that is a good stopping point for tonight, as it is 9:30. We will pick up next game with the following night and the potential kickoff of the plan.
We're gonna have to eat
The
something
meeting with
possibly.
Sinclair, big deal.
The meeting with Sinclair and the investigation into the whereabouts of Murakuro's eyes. So, everyone at home, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, please like and subscribe and comment below. Until then, keep your fangs and your wit sharp, and we'll see you next time on Tumbleweeds and Tombstones.